Like the popular saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another interesting episode with your girl, Uwa Apparel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with us on how I made this beautiful A-line dress. In case it's your first time, you are welcome. Kindly hit the subscribe button and let's get started. So to start with, we would be requiring 3 yards of Ankara fabric, which is what is on the table now. So I'll go ahead now to spread it out and cut out the fabric for both the front and the back of our A-line dress. So for the front, the fabric size folded in two will be about 15 inches, and that of the back would be wider by 2 extra inches, which is 17, and that portion is what would be using for a zipper allowance. And so what I've simply done now is to rule out my starting line. So you can see I am taking a measurement there. So this will be our neckline measurement. So I went in by 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead now to connect both points together using my curve rule. I wanted a simple round neckline, so that is what I've just done. So next to that is going to be our shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is, for me, it is 7.5 inches. So I also went ahead now to take my 1-inch shoulder slope, which is what I usually do in a lot of my videos. So from that point there, or rather from the starting line, I'm going to be taking a measurement of 11 inches, which is my bust point. Okay, so I simply made a point there now, and next to that bust point is my waist point. So having taken my waist point, I would go ahead now to take my hip point. So you can see I made a point there. So from my starting line to my hip point is 25 inches. So I'll go ahead now to rule a line across all the points that I had made. Okay, so after that, I would also be taking my chest line measurement, which is 2 inches above the waist, above the bust line. So that's what I just took now. So from the chest line, I'll be able to take my armhole measurement. So I'm simply connecting the points there at the chest line to the shoulder slope, which is what you saw me did there right now. So from the shoulder slope to the chest line, I'm simply trying to get the midpoint. Okay, so I'll make a point there, and also I'm going in by 1/2 inch, and so all 3 points is what I'm going to be connecting together. So on my chest line, I'll be taking my bust circumference measurement, which is 40 inches divided by 4 to give me 10, and I simply added an extra 2-inch seam allowance to it. So if you've been following my tutorial videos, you would have seen me done this a lot. So that's the armhole measurement that I just took now. So on my waistline is where I'm going to be taking my waist measurement, which is 8 inches. And then I'll be adding an extra 3 inches seam allowance to it. You can add 2 inches. The choice is yours. So I wanted mine to be a little bit free and wide because it's an A-line dress. So on my hip line, we'll be taking my hip measurement of 10 inches, and then I would also be adding, say, 3 inches to it, or 4, as the case may be. So it's important that your hip measurement is wider than that of your waist. And so from the hip measurement there, I'm going to be connecting all my points on the side together as you see me do now. Okay, so first I use my straight rule to connect my chest line, the point at my chest line, to my waist point, and then I used my curve rule to connect my waist point there to my hip point. So from the starting line, what I'm doing now is trying to take the measurement for the full length of the A shape before I will be making pleats at the bottom of the dress. So that's the full length. It's about 34 inches. And then also I'll be connecting the points on the side there to the hip point as well. And after that, I went ahead to cut out my pattern. So looking at the drafting, you could already see the A line shape there on the side. Okay, so what I'm simply doing now is spreading out my fabric. I spread out the back fabric first, and then I'm simply placing the front fabric on top of the back fabric. So I'll be running my stitches around the shoulder area. So I'm simply spreading it out now, and this is what it is looking like. So around the neck area, the neckline, which is a round neck, I'm going to be using this piece of fabric to fold in the neck area. So first I'd run my stitch, or I'd stitch the two together, the main fabric and that piece of fabric. So I'm simply making a fold inward, and I'll go ahead now to the sewing machine and run my stitches around the neck area. So this is what it is looking like after I was done. So at the front side of our pattern, you can see me taking a straight line measurement all the way to the bottom. So this measurement is taken at the middle of the front of this dress that we are making. So what I'm simply doing now is placing my velvet bias on that line which I had drawn. I placed two velvet bias on it, as you can see, and I went ahead to run my stitches on it. So I'd gone ahead to set it aside now while we work on the sleeve for our A-line dress. So guys, the sleeve for this particular dress is a very short sleeve, a small sleeve, and I'm simply going ahead to cut out using my free hand. Okay, so if you watch my videos a lot, you would have seen me cut out sleeve patterns, especially short sleeve. So what I'm simply doing now is placing my sleeve fabric on my outfit, and then I'll go to the sewing machine to stitch it on it. So after I was done stitching my sleeve on the body of my dress that we are making, so what I'm simply doing now is placing my velvet bias. So I bought two types of velvet bias. I bought the slim one and the wide one, and I'm simply placing it on top of the sleeve, as you can see, and I've gone to stitch it on it. Okay, so later on I went ahead to also make a bow tie using the velvet bias. So what I'm doing now is I'd gone ahead to cut out the material which I'm going to be using for the pleats at the bottom of this dress. And as you can see, I had made fold on one side of this fabric. As you can see, please ensure you make this fold and run stitches first before you place it on your A-line dress to make your pleats. Okay, so this is what it is looking like. One edge of the fabric folded before I made my pleats. So after I was done making my pleats, I'm also using my velvet bias to make design on the bottom as well. And as you can see, the velvet bias is sparkling, is shining, and it actually gave it a very unique look, gave it the look of elegance. And then I also went ahead to run stitches around the hemline or the bottom of my dress. So the last and final thing which I did for the making of this dress was to close the dress at the back from the middle point there, as I'm indicating with my finger, and then I placed my zipper. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by and sticking with your girl, Ua Apparel. If you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button, and I will be seeing us on the next one. Until then, stay blessed.